Grace's mission states, we seek to educate, lead, and partner with all people through discipleship to worship, service, and faith celebration. Throughout this pandemic, this mission has taken on a new form, and we have continued to grow in faith and serve our community through online worship, Zoom Bible studies, weekly devotions, and the making of masks. We have strived to continue to be the church, even though we can't gather at the church. We may be scattered, but we are not shattered. We remain united in the Spirit. And while we are proud of the ways we have adapted our ministry, we recognize that InPerson Ministry allows for us to be in fellowship in a unique way. For many in our community, gathering for in-person ministry, whether it be worship or small groups, is something essential for their nourishment of their personal and spiritual well-being. We took this under consideration as we discerned how best to plan and prepare for the time when we may return to in-person ministry at Grace. Though we are able to gather as the governor has lifted some restrictions, and we would like to return, it still isn't time. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Instead, we are cultivating patience. We continue to love our neighbor with an agape or self-sacrificing love, and to honor the fifth commandment. Now, if you remember your confirmation lessons, that commandment is, you shall not murder. Now, I know you all aren't running around with a hatchet in your neighborhood, but Luther's explanation of that fifth commandment takes our understanding of this commandment a step further. He says, we are to fear and love God so that we neither endanger nor harm the lives of our neighbors, but instead help and support them in all of life's needs. The council, staff, and when and how teams have been diligently working on a plan to care for our neighbors and to do no harm. With difficult and thoughtful discussion among the teams and council, we have created guidelines for grace. These guidelines will require our agape love for us to sacrifice a little for the well-being of our neighbor. We also remain committed to our continued development of new and innovative ways to gather our community, some of which might even include gathering outside. Now, this document is a living document. It reflects our present knowledge and understanding of the virus. But we continue to learn. In fact, since we approved it at Council on May 11th, I have attended 2 webinars on the topic and read newly released recommendations. We will continue to learn and adapt these guidelines as our understanding of the virus grows. Beginning with the when and how teams, reviewing it before our next council meeting. In short, this document gives structure to how we will determine if or when we return, the different phases for our return, and how it will be implemented, as well as safety measures taken. It is the beginning of what will likely be a continued discernment process. I'd like to highlight just a few things in this document. First, you will notice that we continue to encourage our members who are at risk and within the vulnerable population to remain at home. We know this is difficult to hear and do. Over 50% of our members are 65 and over, meaning half of our congregation is considered within the vulnerable population according to age, and an untold number of folks may be vulnerable due to health conditions. To you who fit within the vulnerable population, please hear me when I say, if you remain home, we will miss you. We'll miss seeing you in person as you will miss us. But this is important. We want you around for a long, long time. So we encourage you to remain home. However, it is still your choice, whether you attend in person or not. It is ultimately up to you to determine your level of comfort in groups and gatherings. Whatever your choice, you will remain welcome at Grace. And in the meantime, we will continue to serve you via online services and small groups. And with that being said, know that when we do gather again for in-person worship, it will look and feel very different. At this time, we are considering to ask you to RSVP to worship so we can prepare and return in safe numbers. We will be wearing masks and we will be spaced out every other pew. It will be a worship of the Word without congregational singing. At this time, singing is considered a dangerous means for spreading the virus. Though we will gather, it won't be the same. There are many more things I could discuss, but for now, I invite you to read the guidelines. Please reach out to me or Ken Crumweedy, our council president, if you have any questions. If and when we do update the guidelines or decide to transition to a new phase, we will communicate once again through phone, email, letters, and social media. Life will be much different for a while longer. Longer than perhaps any of us expected. Like you, I long to visit with you over tea or coffee. I want to hear us sing again in the sanctuary. I desire the comfort of the Eucharist and would love to hug another person, for that matter, see another person. If you are feeling discouraged by this news, no, you are not alone. If you are struggling with isolation or the tight quarters with loved ones or anything else, please know that Nurse Nancy, Dr. Becky, and I are all available to listen and support you by phone or Zoom. We will get through this. We will continue to be the church, and we are not alone on this journey. God was with the Israelites in the wilderness, and when they were exiled, Jesus sent the Holy Spirit to walk alongside of us and the disciples as we were sent out to share the good news. And to this day, we remain united in the Spirit and sustained by the Spirit.